Hello, you are watching Red Flag Radio. Enjoy watching.
Hey Reddit. I, 34 years old male, have been with my wife, Samantha, 32 years old female, for almost 8 years. Married for 5. I honestly thought we were one of those boring but happy couples. We met in college, did the whole move-in together thing, got married after saving up for a small but cozy wedding. I was the steady one, decent job in IT, not flashy, but reliable. She was always more social, the life of the party, which I figured balanced us out. I'll admit, things weren't perfect. She had this sarcastic, sometimes cutting sense of humor that I brushed off as her personality. She could be snappy when stressed and would sometimes belittle me in front of friends, but I told myself that was just her way of joking. I didn't want to be that guy who overreacts. Looking back, the first signs were small. Her phone started living face down on the table, and she suddenly had girls' nights that stretched past midnight. I chalked it up to her needing space, and to be honest, I didn't want to seem controlling. But little did I know, that was the start of something I was completely unprepared for. It started with her becoming weirdly protective of her phone. Before, she'd leave it charging in the kitchen overnight. Now, it was practically glued to her hand. Even when she was in the shower, she'd bring it into the bathroom. I asked her about it once, half joking, and she snapped back with, "Wow, you're getting paranoid now? I'm not a child. I don't need a babysitter." I laughed it off, but deep down it stung. She also started dressing up a lot more. I'm talking full makeup and heels for quick coffee runs with her friends. When I teased her about it, she rolled her eyes and said, "Sorry for not wanting to look like a slob 24/7, unlike some people." The more I thought about it, the more little things piled up. Sudden late-night work calls, mysterious new lingerie I never saw her wear around me, and her car smelling faintly of a cologne I didn't own. I told myself I was imagining things, but deep down, my gut was already screaming. One Tuesday night, she said she was meeting her friend Jenna for dinner. No biggie. She and Jenna go way back. But an hour later, Jenna texted me a meme, and I, half joking, replied, "Hope you two are having fun tonight." Jenna's response? "Fun? I'm at home watching Netflix, LOL. Why?" My stomach dropped. I didn't even know what to say, so I just left her on read. I decided to call Samantha. She didn't pick up. 10 minutes later, she texted, "Can't talk. It's loud here. Love you." At that moment, I knew something was off. I grabbed my keys and got in the car. Her girls' night was apparently at a restaurant downtown, so I drove there, heart pounding the entire way. And that's when I saw it. Her car parked outside a boutique hotel, not a restaurant. I parked a block away and just sat there for a minute, trying to convince myself there had to be an explanation. Maybe she was meeting Jenna there after all. Maybe it was some work thing. Then, the hotel doors slid open, and there she was, laughing, hair messy in that way I know only happens when she's been touched. And next to her, some guy I had never seen before, mid-30s, tall, with his hand on the small of her back like it belonged there. They walked straight to her car. She leaned against it, and he kissed her. Not a friendly peck, the kind of kiss that makes your knees weak. I remember gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. I wanted to storm over, but instead, I froze. Watching them drive off together was like watching my whole world get rewritten in real time. That night, I didn't sleep a second. I just lay there, staring at the ceiling while she slept next to me, pretending nothing had happened. Around 2 a.m., I got up and went to the living room with her laptop. She always bragged about how tech-challenged she was, so I figured her passwords wouldn't be hard. I was right. Her email and Instagram opened instantly. And there was a string of messages with a guy named Eric. Flirty emojis. Last night was amazing. Kss. Plans to meet again Thursday. Pictures of them together in the very lingerie she claimed she bought just for me. I screenshotted everything and sent it to my email. Then I found hotel receipts in her email inbox. Not one, but 3 different dates in the last month. When I finally crawled back into bed, she stirred and mumbled, "Can you turn off the light?" Like nothing was wrong. I just lay there, heart pounding, knowing my marriage was already over. The next evening, I waited until after dinner. She was scrolling through her phone on the couch when I finally said, "We need to talk." She sighed dramatically, didn't even look up. What now? Did I forget to buy milk or something? I took a deep breath and dropped the bomb. "Who's Eric?" Her head snapped up instantly. For a second, I saw the panic flash in her eyes, but she quickly replaced it with a smirk. "Oh my God, are you serious? Eric is just a guy from work. We're working on a project together. Jesus, you're paranoid lately." I pulled out my phone and showed her the screenshots. Her face went pale. Instead of apologizing, she scoffed. "Wow, you went through my stuff? That's such a gross invasion of privacy. You really have trust issues." I couldn't believe it. I had proof of her cheating, and she was twisting it around to make me the bad guy.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Trust issues? Sam, you were at a hotel with him 3 nights ago, I snapped. She rolled her eyes like I'd just accused her of stealing a candy bar. "Oh my God, you're being so dramatic. We had a few drinks after work, that's all. I didn't think I had to give you a full itinerary every time I breathe." I shoved my phone toward her, the messages glowing on the screen. "Last night was amazing? That doesn't sound like drinks, Sam." She crossed her arms and laughed bitterly. "You're really gonna ruin our marriage over a couple of texts? Maybe if you paid more attention to me, I wouldn't have to find someone who actually makes me feel wanted." That one hit me like a punch to the gut. Suddenly, I wasn't angry. I was just empty. I realized she wasn't even sorry. I remember saying, "So that's it. You cheat, and somehow this is my fault?" She just shrugged, like she couldn't care less. "Believe what you want." I just stood there, staring at her, waiting for even the slightest flicker of remorse. Instead, she set her phone down, crossed her legs, and said flatly, "Fine. You want the truth? Yes, I slept with him. And honestly, it's been going on for months." My breath caught in my throat. Months. She leaned back like she'd just gotten something off her chest. "Eric actually listens to me. He doesn't just come home, sit on the couch, and talk about work all night. He makes me feel alive. You're just safe, boring." I felt like the floor had dropped out beneath me. All those nights she came home exhausted, all the sudden mood swings, it all clicked. I asked, barely holding myself together, "Why didn't you just leave me if you were that unhappy?" She snorted, "Because you take care of everything. The bills, the house, the stability. Why would I throw that away?" And that was it. The moment I realized she didn't love me anymore. Maybe she hadn't for a long time. I don't even remember standing up. One second I was on the couch, the next I was in the hallway with my keys in hand. My chest felt tight, like I couldn't breathe. She called after me, not in a panicked, please stay way, but with a bored tone. "Where are you even going? Don't be so dramatic." I didn't answer. I just walked out. I drove around aimlessly for hours, pulling over a couple of times because I couldn't see through the tears. I'd never cried like that in my life, the kind of ugly, chest-heaving sobs you think only happen in movies. Around midnight, I ended up at my friend Mark's place. He opened the door, took one look at me, and didn't even ask. He just said, "Spare room's yours." I crashed there, phone buzzing nonstop with her texts. "Are you seriously running away like a child? We need to talk about this like adults. If you leave, don't expect me to wait around for you." I didn't reply to a single one. The next morning, I woke up to 27 unread messages and 3 missed calls. Her tone had shifted completely overnight. Now it was, "I didn't mean what I said. Can we please talk? You're overreacting. We can get through this. Eric means nothing. It was just a stupid mistake." Funny how months of feeling alive had suddenly turned into a stupid mistake. Around lunchtime, she called from an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I picked up. She started crying immediately, saying she couldn't live without me, that we'd built too much together to throw it all away. But then, not even an hour later, a mutual friend texted me a screenshot from her Instagram, a selfie of her and Eric posted that morning, captioned, "Can't wait to see you tonight." That's when I realized she wasn't trying to fix anything. She just didn't want to lose her safety net. That screenshot was the final nail in the coffin. I realized I'd been holding on to the idea of the woman I thought she was, not the person in front of me. I called a divorce lawyer that same afternoon. They advised me to quietly start gathering all financial records, joint accounts, mortgage documents, car titles, anything she could potentially drain or sabotage. Over the next couple of days, I went back to the house while she was at work, packed up my essentials, and copied every important document. The whole time, she kept blowing up my phone with mixed messages, half love bombing, like, "I'll do anything to fix this, please just talk to me," half threats, like, "If you leave me, you'll regret it. I'll make sure everyone knows what kind of husband you were." I stayed calm and didn't respond. My lawyer told me not to engage, and for once, I listened. That night, I changed all my passwords and set up a new bank account in just my name. I wasn't looking back. 2 days later, she showed up at Mark's place unannounced, pounding on the door like she owned the place. When I finally stepped outside, she was already in full meltdown mode. "You're really going to throw away 8 years over one mistake?" she screamed, drawing stares from the neighbors. I kept my voice calm. "You didn't make one mistake, Sam. You made months of choices." She switched tactics instantly, tears welling up. "I'll cut him off. I'll go to therapy. I'll do whatever you want. Please don't do this." I just shook my head. "It's too late." Her face hardened. "Fine, but don't expect me to go down quietly. Everyone's going to know how you abandoned me." Then she stormed off, slamming her car door so hard the alarm went off. That was the moment it really hit me. There was no going back. The next morning, I met with my lawyer to officially file for divorce. We went over everything: finances, property division, even the screenshots of her messages with Eric. He assured me that given the evidence, things would likely go in my favor. I blocked her on everything: calls, texts, social media. The silence was deafening at first, but it was also the first real sense of peace I'd felt in weeks. Of course, she didn't take it well. She started emailing from different accounts, alternating between sob stories like, "I can't believe you're doing this to me," and outright rage, "You'll regret this, just wait." I forwarded everything to my lawyer and stayed out of it. For the first time, I was no longer reacting to her drama. I was just done. The first few weeks after cutting her off were brutal. I'd wake up expecting one of her texts, that roller coaster of love bombing and rage. Instead, there was just silence. It felt strange, like I was detoxing from something toxic I didn't even know I was addicted to. I threw myself into work, hit the gym harder than ever, and spent more time with friends I'd neglected over the years. Slowly, the fog started to lift. I began sleeping through the night again. Mutual friends told me she was still with Eric, already posting photos like they were some fairy tale couple. For the first time, I didn't feel that stabbing pain in my chest, just relief that I wasn't the guy she was lying to anymore. I started to realize that the woman I married probably hadn't existed for a long time, and the person I was when I was with her, I didn't like him very much either. Looking back, I can't believe how many red flags I ignored because I didn't want to face the truth. I kept telling myself we were just going through a phase, but the reality was I was holding on to a version of her that didn't exist anymore. The betrayal hurt, yeah, but what really stuck with me was the realization that she didn't even respect me enough to be honest. Once I saw her for who she really was, it was like a weight lifted off my shoulders. If anyone reading this is in a similar situation, trust your gut. Protect yourself. Gather your evidence before confronting them, because the lies won't stop until you have the truth in front of their face. And most importantly, leaving doesn't make you weak. It means you value yourself enough to not settle for being someone's backup plan. I'm not healed yet, but for the first time in years, I feel free.